Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. So the money method glitch, whatever you want to call it, that I released a few days previous has been kind of built upon by a ton of people. I've had people messaging me in Discord, Messenger, PSN, linking me different builds to try out, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try my best to credit everyone in the description below. So big thanks to Tofu, who made me aware of this originally, Bear, who messaged me this morning with a Jeep build, and everybody else that's either directly or indirectly involved in this video in some way. I'll have the links down below. So now it turns out that it's possible to earn upwards of 4.5 million credits per hour in GT7, and I'm going to have around about 3 different builds and many different ways of actually running the method to ensure that, you know, everyone can literally do it the best possible way. Now there is some confusion around this, so I'm going to clear this up because I didn't in my previous video. You need to be level 50. The main reason I recommend this is because then you unlock the ability to buy engine swaps and ultimate tuning parts. It makes it much quicker, and you do need an engine swap build for this. You also need to have golded all of the circuit experiences to receive the maximum bonus to your quick race / custom race game mode. So if we go ahead and have a look at my racing card, dashboard card, whatever you want to call it, as you can see I have all gold medals for the circuit experience, and I'm also the maximum level of 50. So I'm just going to zoom in here. As you can see, gold for literally every single one, including the latest track. This is going to give me the maximum amount of bonus per quick race or custom race. There's a lot of confusion that you only needed it for that single track, but that doesn't seem to be the case from the general gist that I'm getting. So just ensure that you get all of the gold medals first. It's going to pay you out around about 40 to 50 million plus credits anyway, so it is worth your time. They're really not too bad. As you can see, because of this, when I go into any quick race or custom race, I get a bonus of 400%. This is probably why my payout might be higher to yours. You will need to ensure that you've got all of those gold medals, maximum level, as this does affect the bonus and will affect your overall payout. Hopefully that clears it up, that it's not just for one single track. It does seem that you will need to get the gold for every single circuit experience. Plus, like I said, there's no reason to kind of, you know, go into these kind of grinding methods until you've starved the game of every single opportunity to actually earn money in the first place. So like I said, I'm going to show you 3 different builds with these 3 different vehicles. The Jeep, which is now buyable in the Legends dealership for only 35,000 credits. We're also going to be able to use the Abarth 595 once again, which is now available in the used car dealership for 48,900 credits. And finally, the Suzuki Cappuccino, which isn't actually available to buy currently, but I'm sure it will be soon enough. On top of that, you also want to ensure that you have one of these in your garage as well. This is going to be the AI car that we're going to use to run against. This is the Dodge SRT Tomahawk X VGT, the fastest car in the game. Yes, you're putting out 1 million credits, but you'll get back no problem at all. Now, the way this calculates it is that the Tomahawk is so ridiculously fast, we're going to bug out the gears, and then we're also going to ensure that we're using engine swapped slower cars. The game does not take that into account, meaning that that's kind of where you're able to earn so much money. So let's start with the AI car first. This is the non-AFK method of tuning the Tomahawk VGT. Racing softs for both. In terms of everything out on this vehicle, you can leave it default apart from one single thing, which is going to be the fully customizable racing transmission. Now this is from an original post over on Reddit that I've took the gear ratios off, so credit to them. It will be down in the description below. Put it down to 500 with a fully customizable racing transmission. Then manual adjustments. You need to go ahead and set the final drive to 6.000. After that, ensure that your gear ratios match. We have first at 5.269-64, same again for second, and same again for third. Fourth is 5.268-64, fifth 2.669-127, sixth 1.620-209, and then seventh 1.619-217. That's all you need to do in terms of tuning the Tomahawk if you're not going to be doing the AFK method. And that's going to take me straight in to how you should run it if you want to AFK this. So if you do want to AFK it, we're going to be using the Tomahawk build that I showed you the other day. So we've got the racing softs, and all you need to do then is go over to the fully customizable racing transmission. Once again, set it to 500 and then put it to the following values, as you can see. Just ensure they match up, and it'll be able to be very, very slow and be able to be ran in an AFK method with some rubber bands and such. This will ensure that you definitely win the race, even if you're sort of away from the console. Okay, so time to go through all of the money grind cars themselves, build by build. The Abarth's up first. For me, this is the weakest of the three now, and is mainly used as sort of an AFK run car for myself. Apart from that, I just really wouldn't bother too much. But let's get straight into it. This build has not changed. The only thing that's really changed is that it's actually going to run nitrous. I know you can't see it on at the minute, but do put NOS on. K20 engine swap, comfort soft at the front, racing soft at the rear, racing fully customizable suspension, body height front is 75 with a rear 85, anti-roll bar 10 for both, compression 40 for both, expansion 50 for both, frequency is 310 front and 325 rear, camber angle 2.5 front and 5.0 rear, toe angle across for both is 0, fully customizable diff set to 60 torque, 60 acceleration, 5 on the braking. It would have NOS at the bottom here. Fully customizable racing transmission set to 250. In terms of the rest of the vehicle, we have the fully customizable ECU, downforce at the front at 10 and 100 at the rear. Choose your era, whatever you really want. High RPM turbocharger, anti-lag system set to strong, racing intercooler, racing air cleaner, racing silencer, racing manifold, racing slotted brakes, pads racing. Up here we have racing clutch and flywheel, and then all of the perma upgrades: bore up, stroke up, engine balance tuning, polish ports, high lift camshaft S, titanium connecting rods and pistons, racing crank, all weight reductions and increased rigidity, as well as that NOS. Next up, I have the Jeep. This one is thanks to Beer that messaged me this morning. Absolutely awesome build, this one. Possibly my favorite of all of them. Maybe very closely matched to the next vehicle I'm going to show you. This is now available to buy in the Legends dealer at the time of making this video, so make sure you go and pick this one up as soon as possible. So, straight into the build. Another engine swap once again. This time we have the Hellcat Charger engine in this vehicle. As you can see, racing softs for both. Absolutely fine on this. It's four-wheel drive. Fully customizable suspension. Body height front 175 as well as the rear. Anti-roll bar 10 across. Compression 40 for both. Expansion 50 for both. Frequency 3 at the front and 3.15 at the rear. Camber angle 2.5 front and 5.0 rear. Toe angle 0 at the front and 0.30 inwards at the rear. Differential is going to be very similar, so it's 60 on the torque. Acceleration once again 60, and braking set to 5. Torque vector in center diff, I just leave mine at 50/50. Nitrous installed obviously and put up to the maximum, so always ensure that you're doing that for all of these builds. Fully customizable racing transmission set to 180, and here's the individual gears. 4 on this one. Set the final to 6, and then ensure that your first 1.452 over 110, second 0.798-200, third 0.620-258, and finally the fourth is 0.503-371. Now, moving on next, we're going to have a look at the ECU. As you can see, fully customizable once again. No aero on this vehicle, so you don't need to mess around with anything like that. We then have racing intercooler, racing supercharger high end, racing air cleaner, silencer, exhaust manifold, brake system, racing slotted, racing brake pads, handbrake completely up to you, you won't need it. Up here at the top we have the racing clutch and flywheel, carbon propeller shaft, ball up, engine balance tuning, polished ports, titanium connecting rods and pistons, racing crankshaft, all of the weight reductions and increased body rigidity. And that completes it for the Jeep build. So we're going to move on next to the final of the 3 vehicles. So onto the final vehicle of the bunch. This is a Suzuki Cappuccino with the RX-7 engine swap, outright the fastest of the bunch. However, you will be getting paid less per race, but because you can run it more per hour, you are still getting around about 4.5 million credits each time you sort of run this over an hour. So straight into the build. This is the RX-7 engine swap. Now, thanks to Prano Tunes, I got sent the tune via my Discord, so all credit goes to him for this build, and that's how we're going to lay it out. So we do have the RX-7 engine swap, as you can see, racing soft for both of the tires, suspension fully customizable, body height 125 front and 195 rear, anti-roll bar is 10 for both, compression 35 for both, expansion 45 front and 48 at the rear, natural frequency 2.80 at the front and 3.0 at the rear, negative camber angle 1.5 for both, toe angle at the front is 0.05 inwards and at the rear is 0.25 inwards. Fully customizable diff. In terms of the torque, it's going to be 20, acceleration is 5, and braking once again is 20. Nitrous obviously installed, set to the maximum output. This is why we've changed the race settings. It's going to be even quicker. Fully customizable racing, set all the way to 800. Then in terms of your individual gears, quite a bit has changed here. This is going to be a pretty insane one. 3.500 final, 2.103-118 at the first, 1.419-175 on the second, 1.045-238 at the third, 0.817-304 fourth, and finally for the fifth, 0.688-385. The gear ratios, this gives it a top speed of around about 240 miles per hour. Fully customizable ECU, no power limiting once again, downforce at the front for 0 and full at the rear for 300, so just stick on that massive rear wing. Ultra high RPM turbocharger, anti-lag system set to strong, intercooler is racing, air cleaner racing, silencer racing, exhaust manifold racing, brake system racing slotted, racing brake pads. Up here we have the racing clutch and flywheel, and we would have the carbon propeller shaft, so install that as well, I just forgot to. Engine balance tuning installed, polished ports, all of the weight reductions and increased body rigidity. So let's move on to the changed event settings. So let's get into event settings, head over to America, and then you're going to head down to the bottom right to Daytona International Speedway. The track itself hasn't changed, we're still going to be using this, and as you can see we've got our vehicles lined up there ready to be used. Now head over to custom race, because this is where we're going to be doing it. Once you're there, head over to tri-oval, and these are the settings you're going to want to copy. They're universal for all of the vehicles. Now laps you want to set to 25. I would say overall this is the most efficient way. Number of cars at 20 with the starting grid, put yourself last in P20. Rolling start, leave it to the standard rolling interval. Slipstream strength, I recommend putting this at real. Keep your mechanical damage, tyre wear and fuel consumption as off. Low grip reduction, just leave that as it is. However, nitrous and overtaking system multiplier, set this to 10 times. This gives you the ability to basically run nitrous for the entire time that you are doing this. You will just need to lift off on some certain parts. So ensure that you don't put it all the way to 0.1. Ensure that it's all the way to the maximum at 10 times. That is absolutely vital. It allows you to go quicker for much longer. Now down into this section, this is going to be the weather. Just leave it as it is at default. Rival selection, once again select from garage, then open it up and put all of the AI as the Tomahawks. At this point you want to put yourself down in P20, so just ensure that you're all the way at the bottom in that vehicle. Set them to professional level difficulty. As you can see, this will pay you the most in comparison to the different ones, and then all of the bottom ones just leave as the default. Okay, so I'm going to show you the AFK method first. This is when you use either rubber bands or whatever you want to essentially push the car up against the wall and ensure that it drives itself. All you'll need to do with this method is basically just press the restart button and you'll be able to do it over and over again. That is as much input as you need. Now just ensure, unlike me here in the first few laps, that you do have the throttle fully pressed down. Ensure that you're aiming it to the right and just let the car ride the wall. Overall, you're talking probably the slowest method of the bunch, but you don't literally have to do anything. You can go away and just come back 25 minutes later and restart the race and do it again. I recommend the Abarth 595 build for this one. That way, with the sort of comfort soft that we've got at the front, it pushes itself against the wall without sort of spinning itself off. In terms of the Tomahawks, ensure that you've got them set to the same settings that I showed you for the AFK built Tomahawk. This way they're going to be much slower than what you're seeing on screen, and it's going to be possible to just absolutely wipe the floor with them. A lot of the time you will receive the clean race bonus. The Tomahawks will sort of move out of your way. Just a note, you can ride the wall. This won't get rid of the clean race bonus. In some cases you can slightly touch the Tomahawks and you'll still receive the clean race bonus. And if the car sort of goes wild and goes over the yellow lines at the bottom there, again, you'll still receive the clean race bonus. This is the simplest method of the bunch, but it is the slowest possible. However, like I said, you don't even need to be there to be able to do this one. That's where I recommend using the Abarth 595. So let's have a look at the overall time. So by doing the AFK run, you can expect a time anywhere in the range of 23 to 25 minutes over those 25 laps. I did use a bit of sort of nitrous to get it going in the end. You can hold down L1, it'll still ride the wall. For this payout, you're going to get 1.488 million per 25 minutes or so. The slowest of the bunch, pretty much a guaranteed clean race bonus. You should be good to go. That is the AFK method done. Now let's get into the outright fastest two. Okay, so on to the Jeep run next. This is thanks to Beer that sent me this build over this morning over PSN. Massive thanks to him. As you can see, we're using the nitrous. It's going to basically last us on and off for the entire race. I recommend just using it to get yourself past the Tomahawks and do the original overtake, and then sort of use it sparingly. So what you want to be aiming to do is sort of use it on the straights, give yourself the max speed, and then let off on the corners. Again, overall, in terms of your time, this is much quicker. So for 25 laps, you're talking just over 20 minutes or so. This thing will sit at over 200 mile an hour. It will quite easily take the bank in and is the best handling of the three. Again, this is going to be much quicker than the AFK method, but you will need to basically be there for the entire 25 laps. Fairly straightforward. Again, you're going to be lapping the Tomahawks around about 3 times. This is overall the second fastest of the builds, only topped by the Cappuccino, which can do it a little bit quicker. The only downside to that is if you're not comfortable in that vehicle, there is the potential to earn less than you would with the Jeep. Overall, this is the easiest one to drive, and it's the easiest one to go around and around with for 25 laps. So let's move on straight to the payout. Okay, so as you can see, our overall time was 19 minutes 20.885, fastest lap of a 45.142 on lap 11, lapping the Tomahawks a total of 3 times. These are now running the normal Tomahawk settings, or the first tuning sheet of the 2 that I've shown you. This way they're not getting in your way and you've got a fairly clean run. 1.488 million in just under 20 minutes for this one. This is a great build, and once again, thanks to Beer for sending me over this one on PSN this morning. So there we go. Let's get into my personal favorite of the 3 though, which is going to be the Suzuki Cappuccino. So the Suzuki Cappuccino with the RX-7 swap is outright the fastest one of the bunch. It can be a little bit skittish, but like I said, you can ride the wall if you want to. If you don't though, trust me, you're on for some very, very quick laps. This is outright the quickest, like I said. It will sit around about 240 miles per hour, no problem at all. Just use the nitrous on the main straight, use it to kind of slingshot yourself around the Tomahawks, and you should end up lapping them roughly 4 to 5 times in the entire race. Once again, the Tomahawks are going to be running the standard settings. Like I said, in terms of outright pace, this is the fastest of the bunch, and all credit for this tune goes to Prano Tunes, whose build I was sent over in my Discord. So massive thanks to him for getting this tune nailed down. And yeah, this rocket ship, best of the bunch. So let's have a look at the overall time and payout using the Suzuki Cappuccino with the RX-7 swap. Okay, so the Suzuki Cappuccino outright the fastest by a long shot, 16 minutes 16 seconds 0.641, lapping the Tomahawk 6 times with a fastest lap of a 38.341 set on lap 6. This is outright the best of the bunch, although you are going to be getting paid less each time you run it. Around about 1.2 million credits with a clean race bonus for this one, even with the max 400% custom race quick race bonus. So you are getting paid less, but because you are so close to that 15-minute mark, you can essentially run it more per hour, meaning that it will kind of equal out to the same as the Jeep, around about 4.5 million in that hour. And that is going to complete all of the builds and all of the runs. So there we have it. Thank you so much to everyone that recommended many different ways to run this. Hopefully this is a decent enough and detailed enough guide to explain everything from how to get the most money by doing the gold circuit experiences all the way to free absolutely amazing rocket ship builds, including AFK methods, outright speed methods. Just overall a massive thank you to everyone that made this video possible. Everyone from my Discord, Messenger, PSN, including the people that were directly involved or indirectly involved in making this guide absolutely possible. Massive thank you to you all. Hopefully this clears up a lot of the misconceptions as well around why you may be getting paid less per hour and such. Thank you to each and every single one of you. The support lately has been absolutely crazy, and once again I'm just finally loving doing YouTube again after taking pretty much all of last month off. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one. If you want to become a channel member, feel free. I'll be lowering that price soon enough and all that kind of stuff. Discord's in the description down below, same as my Twitter, and all credits will be listed down below as well. Take care, guys. Peace.